They've lost enough money, and this is big business and them servicing your loans. They want their money. They want you to pay their money. And all of this student loan forgiveness, big money talks, because I did an article previously that highlighted how Biden, with the sleight of a pen, has the power to be able to erase and forgive whatever it is that they want to forgive. But they're not telling you that the Fed need their money because they're printing money at a bigger rate than they ever had at any time in history, which is one of the reasons why inflation is running rampant. And it seems like y'all got more money than you really do. But the reality is that the cost of goods and services are going up. Everything is inflated. And as a matter of fact, there should have been a reset and something cyclical that reset and made things and the financial markets go back to where they're supposed to be. But they're still growing and they're still getting outsized because we're artificially inflating the economy, and the Fed want their money. These student loan programs want their money. They want you to pay. They want you to pay for all of these loans that you took out in order to pay these universities to get these underwater basket weaving degrees. Okay. 93% of student loan borrowers are in default. Now, this literally dropped yesterday. 93% of student loan borrowers are in default after pandemic relief. Was it really relief if we still in the same space that we wasn't? How many of y'all that I talked to? Tevin says, what up, though? How do I get a piece of that 35 M's? Well, you got to be the owner and partnership with AEG, then you can get a piece of it. But now we gonna definitely get into it. Give me a second. My man Bill Davis says, I'm in accounting school right now, recession proof or nah. I believe that accountants are recession proof to an extent. Now the question is, what's your ceiling? There will always be a need, especially as the Fed continues to print more money for accountants. Every company worldwide, I believe accounting is one of those professions where you should be okay. Just don't take out a whole lot of school loans in order to do it, my friend. 93% of student loan borrowers are in default after pandemic relief. Now listen, how many of y'all, let's be honest, when I was on these coaching calls with you, and you was like, listen, fam, Biden is going to forgive everything, at least up to $50,000 for every single student loan borrower. I'm holding out. I'm not getting rid of this thing. I'm not going to pay it. I know this is the time that I probably should pay it, even though there's no interest that's being added onto my loan and it's paused for the moment over the last, almost 2 years now. It was like, look, bro, Biden gonna forgive it. We coming out of this with flying colors. I'm not paying that. I'm about to go to where y'all used to go? Tulum? Cancun? Tulum? Something like that? Let's continue. New data from the Education Department reveals that of the 7.7 million federal student loan borrowers in the U.S. that are behind on payments at the start of the pandemic, 93% are still behind, meaning that you took that money and you just started partying a little bit, and now you got to reallocate it to start paying it back off, because the same balance that you had when they started it is the exact same balance that you got now that the moratorium is about to end in January. Nope. He did not forgive your $50,000. Nope. It did not go away. Nope. That loan was waiting right on the other side of that door for you to come out of it like, yo, fam, so what we got going on today, bro? I know y'all not going to find this joke funny. I remember when we was younger, and I used to get whoopings when I was younger. And anybody that was a part of my household, and I'm not talking about my brothers, I'm talking about if you was a kid from the hood and you was going to be spending the night for an extended period of time, you going to get this work the same way that all the rest of us got this work. And it made him a better person as a result of it. Right. And because we was church people. Now, some of y'all, this is going to resonate with, and some of y'all, it might not. But because we was church people, a lot of times they would say, "Oh, you got the devil in you. Rebuke the devil. Oh, you full of the devil." And I remember when we was younger, and it was this one young dude. I ain't gonna say his name, but it was this one young dude, and he got him a little whooping or whatever. And I asked him, he said, "Is the devil gone?" He said, "Yeah, the devil is gone. Yeah, the devil is gone," or whatever like that, right? And then the next day, he was right back doing the same thing that he was doing that he got the whooping for. They said, he just gonna do what he want to do anyway. My dad said that's because the devil just left out of his body and was sitting on the other side of the door. And when he went outside, the devil was like, "So what we doing now, fam?" Oh my God. I thought that was the funniest thing ever, bro. Shout out to my dad. The devil ain't gone, Rita.
It's funny that you just said that. I got his hat on today.
You got my dad's hat on today?
Yep.
Is that his hat?
Yep.
How do you know how is that his hat?
I gave it. She made sure she gave it to me.
Let me see it. I didn't know my mom gave you my dad's hat. Is this where you got your style from? Wow. He sure did used to wear this hat.
He wore it to church every Sunday.
Yep, he wore it to church every Sunday. Do you know that my wife wear my father's hat? My wife wears my father's hat that he used to wear to church every single Sunday. What made you even wear this today?
Because I haven't.
Wow.
This will be my second time wearing it since she gave it to me.
All right, here you go, boo. Take care of it.
That's why I don't wear it, honestly. But
Why?
because I didn't want anything to happen to it.
Oh, you so nice. You love my dad like he was your dad.
He was.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, new data. We got to get back to business, y'all. I got a whole show to do. New data from the Education Department reveals that 7.7 million federal student loan borrowers in the U.S. That were behind on payments at the start of the pandemic, 93% are still behind, despite a nearly 2-year pause in payments. Yep, I was right about 2 years. During the payment pause, borrowers in debt also had the opportunity to participate in the Education Department's rehabilitation program. What is this, prison? Which allowed borrowers to make 9 monthly payments during the pause in order to be brought back into good standing. So the rehabilitation program, I don't know how this rehabilitates you, allowed borrowers to make 9 monthly payments during the pause in order to be brought back into good standing. And given the payment pause, borrowers could count $0 payments towards their progress. That makes no sense to me. How are you going to make a $0 payment? Somebody help me to understand what the piss is going on here. Anyways, but in order to participate in the program, borrowers had to complete significant amounts of paperwork and communicate with their student loan company, which as Insider has reported, is no easy feat, leaves many borrowers without the information they need to pay off their debt. It is no exaggeration to say that even with a massive federal intervention to provide borrowers a pathway out of default during the jab pandemic, hardly any borrowers successfully accessed it. According to the data and an analysis by the Student Borrower Protection Center, of the 5.7 million borrowers with federal direct student loans in default at the start of the pandemic, 91% of them are still in default. In addition, of the 2.8 million borrowers still under the Federal Family Loan Education or the Federal Family Education Loan Program, which is held by the Education Department, 95% of them are still in default. Meaning that you was in default before you went into the pandemic. They put things on hold. They say, yo, fill out this paperwork and reach out and fix this thing. And you're still in default come January when they saying that we're going to resume payments and we want our interest to go along with it. Across the entirety of the federal student loan portfolio, 93% of the 7.7 million borrowers who were in default on 168 billion in student loans at the start of the pandemic are still in default. Ralph says, could you do a video on this notion all tech jobs will be outsourced to India? It will not. I will do a video on that. It will not. Maybe I'll make that a part of my show. I'm gonna put it in my notes. I'll have Rita when she get back put it in my notes. But all tech jobs will not be outsourced to India. What's really happening, because I am on these calls and we just awarded an Indian company with a bid to build out a new application that we're building out. Okay. What's happening is that most Indian firms and people in India are the ones that are embracing all of the technology that comes along with information technology sectors, cybersecurity, software engineering, coding, even becoming scrum masters and things like that. It is going to these places because there is a severe lack in STEM and people that are ready for the jobs in the American. I'll go into that. I'll go into that later because I got a unique inside view into that. All right. This gives you a idea from a pie chart perspective of exactly what this looks like as far as the amount of people that are still in default. All right. Even though many borrowers are not prepared to resume payments in February, on February 1st, the Education Department has made clear they are not planning on altering the timeline. Meaning they've lost enough money and this is big business and them servicing your loans. They want their money. They want you to pay their money and all of this student loan forgiveness, big money talks, because I did an article previously that highlighted how Biden with the sleight of a pen has the power to be able to erase and forgive whatever it is that they want to forgive. But they're not telling you that the Fed need their money because they're printing money at a bigger rate than they ever had at any time in history, which is one of the reasons why inflation is running rampant. And it seems like y'all got more money than you really do. But the reality is that the cost of goods and services are going up. Everything is inflated. And as a matter of fact, there should have been a reset and something cyclical that reset and made things and the financial markets go back to where they're supposed to be. But they're still growing and they're still getting outsized because we're artificially inflating the economy and the Fed want their money. These student loan programs want their money. They want you to pay. They want you to pay for all of these loans that you took out in order to pay these universities to get these underwater basket weaving degrees. Okay. All right, let's continue. Defaulting on student debt can have a whole range of negative impacts on a borrower's financial situation. Look at this. Elizabeth Warren. Didn't want somebody tell me that they'd vote for Elizabeth Warren to run for president? Some man or something like that. Led a group of Democrats in writing a letter to the education secretary, Miguel Cardona, with concerns of plunging borrowers back into repayment without a plan to protect their credit scores and financial stability. You need your credit. Listen. You need your credit score protected so that you can do more borrowing. You need your score protected so you can do a little bit more borrowing. But you know me, listen, the one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let y'all hanging. I'm not going to leave y'all hanging. So I am going to give y'all a little bit of insight in what it is that you can do based off of something that I found from a solutions perspective. To know before the end of the year, or this is what they're suggesting. Okay. 3 things students should know. We're going to go over this real quick and then we're going to get into this nursing stuff. 3 things student loan borrowers should know before the end of the year. All right. A, federal student loan payments resume in 2020. So if you didn't know, now you do. The pause on federal student loans is currently set to expire January 31st. For months now, experts have urged borrowers to prepare for payments to resume. Ashley Boucher, Director of Corporate Communications for Sallie Mae, says looking ahead will be key for borrowers to pause as the deadline nears. Understand how your finances may have changed as a result of the pandemic. Basically, they're saying get your budget in order. This is another thing. Servicers are changing. So the person that services your loan may be different from what it was prior to the pandemic. By the end of 2020, over 10 million borrowers will have their student loans switched from one servicer to another. Services are changing, transitioning between services has been known to cause a headache, blah, 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 blah. And then they lie to you and tell you that you're entitled to forgiveness. So we're not even going to go over that part because I already did a whole show on that. My boy Jerome Brooks. Shout out to Rome. Rome was tapped in on the Patreon exclusive meetup in Miami. He said that community college route sounding lovely right about now. It's sounding beautiful. You're going to pay a minimal amount in credit hours compared to what you would pay in order to service your, all of that and costing. You can work your way through it, and you can literally graduate without zero debt.